I thought I would start with a little bit of background about the company, Mitra Innovation. We are just over 3 years old now, the company, founded in 2012. And as the slide says, innovate, incubate, and digitize nicely describes our mission as a company. We have offices in the UK and in Sri Lanka and in Australia, and we primarily serve all these three markets. And our focus has been very much about technology and innovation and startups and bringing new and emerging technology to the marketplace. And it was with that mission in mind that we very quickly found that there's a good natural fit between WSO2 and Mitra. So we started working with WSO2 a little while back. And today we're going to talk about BIM as a service, which is one of the first products that we've developed built on top of the WSO2 platform. If we take a little look at the organization structure in Mitra, myself, together with Ashok and Danica, founded the company in 2012, and then more recently Sudaraka came on board as our chief architect. I have been working with Ashok since about 2005. He and I worked together while he was at Virtusa, and I was a program director in the UK telco. I was running the online program there, and we did some work together there, found that we had a good natural alliance, and built the partnership from there forwards. And with Danica leading our Asian operation, the three of us founded the company together and have built it together since then. But now if we turn our attention to BIM, I've got a couple of slides that explain the very basics of BIM, just in case anybody isn't familiar with that, or perhaps a useful refresh for those who perhaps are a little bit more familiar. As you see from the slide, the concept of BIM, building information modeling, has been around for more than 10 years now, with a couple of key studies back in the early part of this century, identifying the potential for BIM, but having identified that potential many years ago, there wasn't actually a great lot of progress for many years until the early part of this decade, where the UK government produced quite an important report that identified major savings to be made, and actually started putting a timetable around the implementation of this. And as we see from the slide, the key next date on that timetable is next year, 2016, where in the UK the requirement is that all major infrastructure projects in excess of £5 million must be BIM compliant. Now, here in the UK, that has driven a significant increase in attention to BIM, because that timetable was announced several years ago. And you can see that survey of 1,000 construction professionals earlier this year, the survey was undertaken, and you see a massive increase in the number of professionals with BIM awareness and seeking to adopt. So I think it's a good time now to be thinking about how tools and technology can help with the adoption of BIM in the marketplace. In terms of taking that timeline forwards, certainly my expectation is that in less than 5 years' time, I expect BIM to be ubiquitous in many geographic regions around the world, and I think we'll see uptake at very, very high levels for large infrastructure projects. If we look at why BIM is important, if we take a look at why governments are driving it, it's their own analysis identifies that whole life costs on major infrastructure projects could be reduced by as much as 20%. And so the driver from governments for national infrastructure projects is quite clear based upon that. And many of these savings come from the collaboration element. Now, there's one program I've worked in the UK on rail infrastructure that very graphically illustrates that. Because the absence of BIM has led to situations in many programs where the format and standards of information and naming conventions, file structures, and whatnot are different inside client organizations and supplier organizations. So as a project goes through its life cycle, that handover and handback between the client and the supplier, and then perhaps different suppliers at different stages of the evolution of the project, there are significant inefficiencies there because of that lack of standardization. And that's why BIM is so important in the collaboration, because it provides standardization and just makes everything run smoother between organizations. Compliance is the third element to why we see BIM as important, and that is linking back to the government directive. So you'll recall in the previous slide that the UK government has said that all major infrastructure projects must comply with BIM by 2016. So therefore, any large infrastructure companies that don't seek to embrace BIM will no longer be eligible for consideration for these large-scale procurements. So BIM compliance is becoming a must-have with infrastructure companies rather than a nice-to-have. In terms of the various benefits for implementing BIM, I'm not going to step through all these in detail. Time doesn't really permit. But if I pick out a couple of common themes across these various benefits for implementing BIM, essentially it can provide added insight on projects, and the demonstration that Sudaraka will do in a few moments' time will give you a nice illustration of what I mean by that. And also the other element I wanted to pick out, that third bullet in the first column, in terms of the component libraries and catalogs. Essentially, the more BIM projects are implemented, the larger these libraries and catalogs of products and components become. And they essentially become like Lego bricks, if you like. They're a standard definition. They don't vary over time, and therefore it's so much faster to do the next project and the next project as an increasing proportion of the components of that project are built from items that are already in the component libraries. Now, if we can touch on some of the implementation challenges within BIM, collaboration is clearly key for the benefit realization from BIM, as I spoke about a moment ago. But I know from first-hand experience in some of the large programs that I've worked in, providing a single common data environment that different organizations have access to whilst maintaining the data security can be a major challenge. And Sudaraka will take us through why WSO2 gives us a fantastic starting point for enabling that. Similarly, with information security, we want to make sure that the access is available for the various partner organizations in an ecosystem within a project, but we must also make sure that they're the only people who have access to that information. So that can be a key challenge. In terms of data volumes, some of the data sets involved in major infrastructure projects nowadays can be absolutely vast. So I know from first-hand experience the work that I'm doing with the rail infrastructure company in the UK. We've just built a very accurate 3D model of the entire UK railway to enable us to progress down this route. And the data set for that project is 220 terabytes. And that's not going to be unusual, particularly in major infrastructure projects. You know, the data volumes that we're talking about are very, very high. And lastly, in terms of implementation challenges, I'm just described a world where the take-up of BIM is going to happen quite quickly, is happening already quite quickly, and it's going to continue to increase. And therefore, the number of people with the skills available to work in this area is quite limited. And my expectation is that demand will run ahead of supply for these skills for the foreseeable future. So again, we need to think about solutions that work in that sort of scenario. And again, that argues for a service-based platform solution rather than developing in-house solutions. So taking these things together, what we've done within Mitra is develop BIM as a service. And we're very proud of this. We think we've developed an open source solution that scales to any size of project required. And we'll see a demonstration of the product in a moment from Sudaraka. In terms of the key benefits that product provides, the information sharing that I mentioned earlier, by virtue of being built on the WSO2 platform, that makes it much, much easier to achieve the sharing and the collaboration than might be the case if it was built in a bespoke solution inside a company. So again, I've seen firsthand that solutions built inside a company's firewall, it can be quite difficult to grant access for other partner organizations to that same data. In terms of the analysis, getting key insights to root causes or potential clashes in designs are absolutely instrumental in reducing rework costs downstream in programs. And we believe that BIM as a service provides a range of features that enable that, not least of which is the visualization, which Sudaraka will demonstrate in a moment. But also the governance and the compliance is important because, as I mentioned, some of the governments are going to insist on compliance, and therefore it's not long until there's going to be requirements laid down on partner organizations to actually demonstrate that compliance. So a product that can provide documentary proof of the compliance for a project will be an increasingly important element. And that learning, the final benefit, is an important one as well. As I mentioned earlier, the building the libraries of component products as we go along and bringing that learning from previous projects into new ones is another key driver of cost reduction as we go from project to project. So that pretty much covers what I wanted to set out as the context for the demonstration for BIM as a service. So at that point, I'll hand over to Sudaraka, and he can take us through a demo of the product.
Thank you very much, Derek, and good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody who's joining from different parts of the world. So I believe you get an understanding of BIM with Derek's presentation. If anybody who's there who had not the idea on BIM before, so I don't go into that explaining again. So as Derek mentioned, the platform that we have actually built on top of WSO2 based on concepts of BIM. And there are several products. I can say there are several components inside our BIM as a service platform, specifically BIM 3D, BIM Stats, BIM Alert, and BIM Connect. BIM 3D actually visualizes a particular model that is submitted to the BIM as a service platform, whereas BIM Stats provides an analytical platform for your model data or any other data which comes into the platform. BIM Alert is specifically developed to govern the data that is coming into the platform, to handle naming conventions and running several rules on your data and alert the project team. The BIM Connect is the place that we actually connect different systems to our platform. So in today's discussion, I think the focus, we have mentioned BIM to CDE. CDE stands for Common Data Environment. The concept of Common Data Environment is basically, when it comes to a large infrastructure project, getting data into one single place, or else in a federated environment where users can have access without having a difficulty of locating the information that is needed, which is a crucial part. So what our product does is actually addressing this whole problem. So when we actually developed the whole product, WSO2 platform actually gave us that capability that we needed, the scalability that we needed, and that connectability was actually built on top of WSO2 platform. So we did not have to think twice on choosing WSO2 as our base platform. So this is actually a publication. This is coming from PAS 1192. It's a British standard, publicly available specifications that describes the common data environment, how it actually works in an existing project which is completed with the construction, or else a new project that is going to start with the construction. So you can specifically see these two parts here as PIM, Project Information Model, and AIM is the Asset Information Model. The PIM specifically when the project is going to start as a new project, where you have selection of the contractors and doing all the procurement for the project, and all the data getting captured during that process, starting from the brief to concept to definition and design, and up to the handout of the project. And after that, what happens is you start the operational aspects of the facility that you have built when it's in use. So there as well you get data getting collected specifically in terms of operational data. So all this data getting collected will be in a common data environment. So this is what we actually do with our platform, where we facilitate to connect different systems into our system, into our platform, specifically for different systems, which is getting connected, as you can see in this slide. So what we do is, like, we have document management systems getting connected. When it comes to a large construction project, there are a lot of documents going back and forth between different teams. You're talking about large architectural teams, mechanical engineers, plumbers, and other project managers, and a lot of data we are talking about. Managing through different document management systems. You have 2D models, you have 3D models, you have project management data coming in, and you have financial data coming in, and also facility and operational data coming in. So what happens is there should be a way to get all this data into a single place. What I meant by that is that we are not going to collect all this data and persist or store in our platform. as Derek mentioned, I mean, it's not a possibility to actually manage 200 terabyte of data into one place. What our system does is actually facilitate either storing of data or else federating the access to data in a single platform. So BIM Connect is actually an API layer that is exposed through our platform that allows these different systems to communicate through the platform. Basically, the common data environment of BIM as a service. So when you have a new infrastructure project, what happens is that particular project opens up a space, ideally the common data environment, and it opens up the API to communicate with different parties. So API manager of WSO2 platform actually gives the best tool to do this. And the other fact that Derek mentioned in his one, the collaboration platform and information security becomes a crucial thing that we need to keep an eye on. WSO2 platform comes with a powerful enterprise level security management platform with called Identity Server, which we are using as our primary security mechanism to connect to our platform. So when it comes to different parties connecting, I'm not talking about the staff from the same organization. It's actually different people, different companies connecting from different geographical locations, and security governance becomes a crucial part of the application. So that is one of the key parts that we have used from WSO2 platform. So the biggest component in WSO on the BIMaaS service common data environment is what we are using for integration is WSO2's enterprise service bus. The enterprise service bus had actually given us the tremendous capability of accepting different kind of data and mediating them through a way where we can provide our functionality such as federated search and data visualization and all that things. So let me just quickly jump into a small demo. I just wanted to show only a few parts, maybe the API connectivity and our 3D visualization platform. So this is where we actually log into our platform. As you can see, this is also developed on WSO2's one of the components called user engagement server. So what happens is when somebody logs into the system from a different company or whatever it is, they have a single place to log in. They will be able to see different projects in the project dashboards. I'm not going onto details of the project dashboard. This actually gives you how many projects that you're running and all that things. So whenever you want to work on a particular project, you can just open that particular project and start working on that. So that actually opens up the doors for common data environment for that project, allowing you to run different things and do the searches and create your rules, etc. Let me just quickly take you to BIM Connect. This is where we expose our API, where we utilize WSO2's API manager for BIM as a service. So we have actually exposed a couple of APIs through the API store, where different people, when they need to integrate with our platform for sending information, they can actually consume all these APIs into their systems and then start communicating with it. So all these APIs are actually defined through the API manager, and you can actually consume them based on the specification provided, of course with the necessary security tagged along with it. So let me just go to the BIM 3D. The concept of having all this information coming into the platform includes 2D and 3D data, as I told you. So currently what we support is IFC standards, that is Industry Foundation classes. That's a geometry file that contains a lot of information about your project with your 3D elements and all that. Let me just go into the model visualization for the project that I just opened. So as you can see, the project that I opened is called a sample project, is called a house project. This data for this project is actually came in to the system through a file called IFC file. This IFC file actually has your geometry, as I mentioned, your all the data that you need to build this 3D model. And let me just open that. I can see the visualization of the project. I can see that the 3D image or the 3D model of that particular project is started rendering. So along with that, what happens is, I told you in the common data environment, we have the ability to get different data pertaining to this particular project. Now, as I mentioned, the project management data, the financial data, and whatever the documents related to that particular project could be taken into the platform via the API, and Enterprise Service Bus actually takes care of the job of analyzing this and getting it and mediating it into the common data environment. Just give it a little time until this is loaded. So as you can see, this IFC file, it's a simple text file that actually contains the elements of a particular building. This could be a very complex and large infrastructure. For this demo, we have simply used a very simple house and apartment to demonstrate. But this could be a very, very complex building as well. So my model is loaded. What happens is I can actually, do a lot of analytics on this model. I can go forward and break down this architecture of the house into different levels. So it actually defines my level, where my roof is, where's my, the different levels. As you can see, this is a two-storied building. I can actually, turn off a different level, and I can see what is inside this building. I can go into the, the beams, what is connected into it. I can just simply turn off a different level, and I see what is inside this building. So we have actually provided a couple of facilities in terms of, the model, the 3D analysis of this building, where you can actually select a particular level, and we can just, slide it down and do the changes as you needed, so that you can have a better visibility. I can just take off this level and see what is been happening. This is actually facilitating a lot of architectural requirements, identifying certain elements. So this is actually the 3D visualization. That is one of the key parts of the BIM compliant to be able to view 3D models in the platform. So what we have done is we have actually gone a little far from that. We wanted to integrate information into the 3D model. So what we have done is that when the information comes into the platform, we have a correlation engine which connects all these information into one element. So if I need to go down and have more information about, for an example, let's say I want to click this window and see more information, this particular window actually gives me all this information I need. So based on the particular element that I have clicked. So I have clicked on a window. This gives me all the information pertaining to that window. So it gives you the that particular asset's information, the size of that window, the name of that window, and several different properties. Basically who is the manufacturer, when was it initially the status of the warranty, serial number, all that information, that is actually handled through the integration platform. And also the planning system, if the planning system connected to the platform gives me the information when was this window actually going to purchase and when it is going to be fixed. And if I go to the cost tab, it gives me the information pertaining to the cost element of that, when it was purchased with and under which price. And I can go to the maintenance information. It gives me the maintenance record for this window. And if I go to the document, and it gives me all the specs for that document, for that window, what is the manufacturer specification and everything related to that. We have also introduced a collaboration feature where you can have a discussion around that element. So, for an example, if I'm an architect and I want to mention something saying that, okay, we need to remove this, I can just send this so that whoever comes into the platform next time can have this conversation going, so that you can build a conversation and have everything going on there. So the best part is that all this information in the common data environment could be persisted during the construction. Whatever you have done, all these discussions, all these documents and everything could be handed over once the whole project is completed to the project employer or the project owner, so that he can have this complete information with him for your future reference and all that thing. So you don't have to worry going after different parties to collect information, which is a nightmare. So that is one of the key things that we provide in our platform when it comes to common data environment. So, I mean, that's a very simple demo that I gave. There's a lot to it, but time doesn't actually permit at this time. So I just hand over to Dasana to explain how the common data environment specifically works on top of WSO2 Enterprise Service Bus. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sudaraka. Hi, everyone. So I believe you guys went through the the demonstration of the platform, the BIM as a service platform, and was able to see the capabilities and on the platform. So now let's look at what are the components that enables this capability. Different capabilities that you were able to observe on the platform. So if you again look back, what common data environment means is it provides single source of information to collect, manage, and disseminate among multidisciplinary teams that get together to create this infrastructures. So the important component here is the collaboration, because you are collaborating with multiple parties which uses different systems, and they exchange different artifacts. They don't have, most of the artifacts will not have any standards, and they will have their own life cycles. So in common data environment, we want to make a kind of component as a single version of truth, and we need to facilitate of collaboration. So the collaboration is one of the key points that you need to provide when you come up with a BIM as a service platform. So this collaboration is provided by WSO2 Enterprise Service Bus, which is an open source, high performing enterprise services bus used by Fortune 500 companies around the world. So what it does is it creates collaboration between different parties, different protocols, different artifacts. So it facilitates easy integration, and it's kind of configuration based and lightweight. So that's why, because when you look at BIM related activities, it's all about collaboration, and it should be very fast because you are dealing with a lot of data, billions of data, and the artifacts are very different, so different types of artifacts. So if you look at this diagram, like the integration, the enterprise services bus can integrate with different legacy systems, certificate services, data services, external systems, users, different protocols. So the collaboration has many angles. So if you go to file handling capabilities of WSO2 ESB, one of the major capabilities that is used by BIM as a service platform, because most of the artifacts are files when it comes to infrastructure related projects. So different types of files, different types of systems that handle files has to be collaborated with each other. So WSO2 Enterprise Service Bus provides it works as a file transfer gateway or file exchange hub, connecting different file stores and different file types, exchange between consumers and providers. And when it exchanges these files, it can act on these files without really hindering the performance of transfer of files, and do a lot of activities, intermediate activities on top of these files. So this enterprise service bus uses a VFS based file handling capability, and it can run parallel and work on multiple files. So that's a capability, the collaboration capability based on the files, the types of files, that brings in the brings out the collaboration capabilities of the platform. And if you look at more detail in how the files are being processed, the enterprise service bus could process XML files, and enterprise service bus uses this proxy concept, and intermediary processing can be done when file is in transit. And most of the capabilities are configurable, so you don't need to do a lot of customizations around the product. So it is very easy in order to perform these collaborations. And not only files, enterprise service bus uses standard technologies like SOAP and REST and XML, JS, and those kind of popular technologies, because most of the systems that are used in building management and infrastructure development, those activities are now moving into the cloud. So in a collaboration exercise, you will be meddling with a lot of cloud-based services, and as well as on-premise systems. And the integration mechanism maybe have the request response model, as well as it will have event-driven async model. So all these different integration patterns are supported by the WSO2 Enterprise Service Bus. And it has default components, built-in connectors that enable this capability. And if you look at custom endpoints, like custom sourcing endpoints, so we have this set of concept called connectors, which we we have a connector pool or connector store. The enterprise service can be plugged with these connectors, which have custom built and which handle custom protocols and custom way of managing different endpoints. So now here what I'm showing is those connectors connecting into different non-standard resources, so something like MS SharePoint, and it is pushing details into the cloud. So these kind of integrations can be done on top of WSO2 Enterprise Service Bus. And this capability is built into the architecture of the WSO2 ESP bus. This is high-level architecture of the ESP. And if you look at this message builder, message formatter, and those are the components that kind of format or transform different protocols. So likewise, WSO is ESB is based on component-based architecture, which can be extended. So in BIMaaS platform, we have used the default capability of ESB, and we have extended some of the components to support, non-standard collaboration that we want to provide. So it was easy because WSO2 ESB is kind of componentized architecture, so it is easy to extend. So that is basically the description of WSO2 ESB usage and in its capability in the BIM as a service platform. And so I believe this brings us to the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, I believe you can send in. Yeah, I think there's a question whether the BIM is built on top of the ESB. BIM platform is built on top of several products of WSO2 and several other open source products that has been used in the platform. So ESB is one of the key components that come together to create this BIM platform. And ESB provide the collaboration capability in the platform.
There's another question. Is BIM an enhanced project management tool? Not really. BIM is just a platform. What we can do is we can actually connect to different project management system, maybe an enterprise level project management systems like Primavera or something like that, and we can actually integrate the data to our platform. BIM itself is not a project management tool. Where you can get more information on BIM, we have a website. You can get a lot of information from that. It's called www.bimaas.uk. That is www.bimaas.uk. Visiting that site actually gives you the complete information of BIM, as well as you should be able to download our BIM platform from the GitHub because it is open source. While visiting that site, you'll get all the information that is needed.
Hi there. It looks like we're closing off in a moment. So I just wanted to say before we close, if anybody wants to see a more detailed demo of the BIM as a service product, then please do reach out to us. We'd be very, very happy to do that. And I'm conscious that time was very limited today. So there was only quite a small proportion of the features and functions that we had the opportunity to show today.